Alright, so we just brought another load to the boat. This week I brought so many loads to the boat and organized one load at a time. It's a lot of stuff to bring, and it's not like I also brought a lot of stuff to Goodwill, so I just feel like I've been lugging containers. So it feels really good to declutter. I brought so much stuff to Goodwill and now we're just adding some stuff to the boat. Today's shipment of goods to this cargo ship was our book. So I actually wanted to show you, I haven't read it yet, but it's a book called An Embarrassment of Mangoes, and it's actually, I don't know if it's fiction. I don't think it's nonfiction, but I don't know. But it's all about how somebody kind of takes off, leaves, and sails the Caribbean. Would you say Caribbean or Caribbean? I don't know. But they take off and sail. So this book and then my Call Me Captain book are kind of some books. The other one's a memoir. So we have our nautical books, we have our sports coaching books, we have some Christian books, and then we have my books and a journal. And that is our library. Welcome to our public library. Brought to you by UN Incorporation. Welcome back to our channel. This video is going to be addressing some of the questions that a couple people have commented of what was the cost of this boat that you have seen in like our last 10-11 episodes. So I'm going to dive into the cost, why we bought a sailboat, the cost of living, what it entails, bills, and all of those different things. So stay tuned and let's get started and jumping right into what everybody's curious about. I wanted to show you something that I have been working on in the background for project, making it homey, and it's gonna go right here. Very beachy. I'm really excited. So I also have another picture on its way, and it's a picture of the sunset. So it's like everything that I love about the sunset is gonna be in the house or in the boat. I'm excited because we have, this was where like an oil lamp was. So I took this down just because when you're sitting here you kind of could hit your head, and then there's these holes. I bought command strips that hold like I think 15 pounds, and this is like super light. So, and I used 6, which seems excessive. So that's like 45 pounds, but especially with sailing, moving around. So I got my handy dandy level. How cute is this? It's so small. I love it. All right, we're locking it in. I'm locking in my answer. I'll take straight for 500. Yeah, that's perfectly centered. Whew, let's hope. Oh boy, I don't want to take it off. I don't have any more of those strips. Ooh, but there's a hole. I didn't go high enough. That's alright. I think any higher would be a little weird. This is good. Man, cover the hole and I missed one of the holes, but you don't see it. Honestly, we have so many things at the boat that we need to organize. If you can see, this is like stacked of stuff, but this is priority. Nesting is priority. Alright, so for the cost of the boat, we had been looking on the market for a while. We knew that we had certain criteria that we really wanted. For me, it was really important to have a decent sized boat, enough to be able to cook, live comfortably, have 1 or 2 people stay over with us so that we could like put seats down, be comfortable, as well as just not be living in a 30-foot sailboat. We originally were looking at trawlers, but then we decided that a sailboat is the best economical as well as environmental option for us to use, as you can sail nautical miles for very, very cheap and very, very safe for the environment. The market in Hawaii is very interesting because it is secluded. Like you have like Japan and then you have California, so it's pretty secluded. So if you're looking to buy a boat, you have the option of buying in Hawaii for a little bit more expensive, or you can go to like California and sail it over and kind of do different things like that. However, there are some deals here because some people get in a bind because they need to leave and they have a boat. So if the market is not, obviously they're not able to sell it, or it's a unique boat, it puts people a little bit in a little bit of a tricky situation, which allows buyers to capitalize on it. So when we were looking at sailboats, we had the criteria of being a larger sailboat, as well as we wanted to buy one in Hawaii so that we didn't have to sail it here, because we were getting and dipping our toes into sailing life, as well as we had been on a slip here, which I will go into a little bit deeper, of just the challenges of living on a boat in Hawaii. So we toured a few boats, and this boat that we are on right now, Windrose, was listed at $50,000. So because it was bigger, it was on the market for a little bit more, where we saw a very similar boat. No, it wasn't similar, it was very different. It was a 30, it was Pearson. Yeah, okay. The same time we saw this boat, we also saw another boat, and it was a Pearson. I think it was 32 or 35 feet, so a little bit smaller. In my mind, those extra 4 or 5 feet really make a difference on a sailboat, because you are talking about this much space that you're losing, so it just really makes everything tighter. So for me, kind of wanted to stay away from that. So we saw this boat, it was $50,000, and we wanted to make sure that we paid cash for it. As is, like, we are going to buy this boat, we're not going to be taking out debt. So the situation with this boat was an owner was in debt and needed to get rid of this boat to pay the fees for a marina, just some delinquency on their end. So we swooped in, said we'll give you all cash as is, where is, and we offered, I believe it was $20,000. No, we did 21, and then we will pay $21,000. He countered, and which is hilarious because it was listed at $50,000. He only countered with $22,000. So we bought this boat as is, where is, for $22,000. So pretty good, awesome purchase in my opinion for a residence, even though it's a residence on the water. It was $22,000. We paid cash, and there were a couple other fees that you need to make sure that you're budgeting if you're getting a boat. So he had illegal mooring fees, so we had about $500 to rectify his illegal mooring fee charges, as well as we wanted to get the motor, just a little, like, the diesel engine, is it a motor? The diesel engine tuned up and ready to go after we kind of noticed that there were some issues and it was overheating. So that was about $1,800. So kind of with that, we also knew it needed to be hauled out. So when we were looking for a boat, we wanted to go under the budget that we had set in our mind so that we could haul it out, repaint the bottom and power wash it. We can pay for any illegal fees that were possible, as well as fixing the motor. We wanted to make sure that we had that money to put into the boat, because basically when you're buying a boat, the main things you have to think about is obviously price and the size. So you have to sacrifice on one. So you could either buy a smaller boat that's maybe a little bit more up to date, or a larger boat that just needs some work. If you're willing to do the work, it is going to save you money in the long run. Lastly, I wanted to discuss why to move on a sailboat and what it entails. The state of Hawaii is a little bit more strict, so we didn't want to obviously just anchor, because there's not as many anchoring points, and there's not even honestly that many places to like moor, as well as we wanted access to water, electricity as we got started, especially because I work full-time, so I needed to make sure that we have access to land. We can't just go off-grid completely. So we actually, because Seth is military, we ended up getting a slip at a marina in Pearl Harbor. That was pretty much the key that we needed to get the boat. So we knew we were getting really close to getting the slip. We were like 4th or 5th on the list, so that's when we pulled the trigger, bought the boat, and then we just had to moor for literally 30 days, and then we were able to get into the official slip that we are at now, that I will tour you around and show you the area later in this video. With the slip cost, it is $675. They go based on feet, so that is how much we pay per month, and that includes electricity and water. You get to use their facilities. They have a great showering facility, a laundry facility, and a awesome slip. You also get a storage container that's included in the fees. So for $675, it is a super great way to live with a great cost of living. It's pretty low, especially for Hawaii. In perspective, our mortgage was like 5 times the amount of that, so we are able to cut our costs down to like 1/5. As well as at our house, our electricity was about $150 to $190 a month. So here electricity is included. We have AC all the time, and we are very comfortable, especially in a warmer climate, and that we don't pay for. So basically for $675 we have everything included, and that is so much cheaper than where we work. So obviously sailboat living is not only because of cutting costs. If you're only looking to live in a sailboat to cut your costs, obviously that's one thing, but that is not the reason why to move into a sailboat. Yes, a huge portion of it, of living in a sailboat, is very inexpensive, and if you work or if you have dual income, it's a really great way to save more money for the future. However, there are going to be inconveniences. Little things I've noticed are a little bit harder living on a sailboat. We're still using the shower facilities. We don't have an electric pump for the water, so we just kind of pump that with our feet. and you get used to those things, as well as the composting toilet. We are still getting used to these different things. However, those are part of the process of having a sailboat. But if it was just about the money, those things would be very frustrating. So yes, that's one big component, but you also have to really truly desire and want to do that way of life. So you have to be willing to give up everything that you own, for the most part, maybe 95% of your things, to live this life. So you can save money, but you also need to make some sacrifices for the actual way of life. So obviously the way of life is something that is very enticing for Seth and I. It's living on the water, being on the water, sailing, and just really being able to soak up what Hawaii has to offer on the sea versus on land. Obviously we still have a car, we can do things on land. We're not completely untethered to land right now, but just living that lifestyle is really, really attractive to us. So if you're looking to buy a sailboat, I would really write down on a piece of paper the pros of moving on to a sailboat and the life that you want to live, and like create your own life. So I'm a big planner, so I wrote down all the things that I wanted in a sailboat. Seth and I kind of discussed prices and how we could get those things. So for me, it was, I really wanted a decent sized kitchen for the size of the boat. This is a great size. However, there are some boats that just have like one little oven, some don't even have an oven, and one little prep space. To cook food and kind of entertain and have some people over, you gotta have a kitchen. So that was something that was on my list, which made us need to get a bigger boat, which is fine, but you have to know that then the bigger boat is gonna cost more money. So I would really talk about that if you're just doing it by yourself or you're with a significant other. Going through what you're looking at and why is a big, big component. The other thing is where you're going to be located. If you're going to be anchored, moored, in a slip, working out those costs. But then lastly, you have to figure out the details of where are you living right now and what do you have to do to get to your spot. So there's 100 steps between where we were in a house with a mortgage to completely without a mortgage in the boat, and we are still right smack dab in the middle. So we're working and we are making progress. Our house lists in about a week and a half, and then we completely will be mortgaged, debt free, and living on the boat. So we're really excited about that, but there's a lot of steps. There's decluttering, there's getting rid of things, and that's a pretty emotional experience. A lot of our things that we collect and gather, especially as Americans with consumerism, they hold a little bit of an emotional baggage in our life, and we completely cut those off. So I made a ton of trips to Goodwill. Some of the things I had since we got married, some of the things I had prior, and I was bringing these containers to Goodwill, and it was a little emotional, but it was also a little frustrating. Emotional because some of these things I did like, but I knew I didn't have space for them, and then at the same time they were not something that I used regularly, and that's what was frustrating. I saw so many things that I bought, home decor pieces, little things that I collected over the years and paid good hard-earned money for, that I was just bringing to donate. What I love about the boat right now is less things, more freedom. With way less things, you have way more freedom. And then that one mug that you make your coffee in or your tea in is a quality mug. I buy super awesome pottery because I don't need 500 mugs. I just need like 4 mugs and 4 plates and 4 spoons, and that is all I need, so I can have really good quality things. Same with my clothes. To get rid of a lot of clothes. I had some clothes that I truly did love, but I never ever wore, so those I donated. So it's making that commitment, doing those things, going through those hard sacrifices so that you can get to that final destination. So if you're looking to buy a sailboat, I would highly recommend it. However, you need to do all of those steps, figure out the finances, figure out your dream list, what your life is going to look like, kind of plan it out so that when you go through these steps, it's very seamless, it's very smooth, there's no big crazy hiccups. Obviously there's going to be some hiccups. We had to fix our diesel engine, but we budgeted for that. We knew that these things were going to be coming down the pipeline. I also know that a few people have wanted to see where we are at the marina and the facilities they offer. So I'm going to take you around to our new home and show you what that looks like. So here is our storage unit that we use. This is where we hook up to shore power. We have a hose here to fill up our water tanks, and this came with the slip and was free. And then here is our boat, and then this is actually a cart that they have right where you park so that you can bring and take your things very easily, completely free. So all of this kind of comes with the slip. So here's our slip, and then this is obviously the walk down. There is the restaurant, and then there is the parking there. So in the previous video that we showed you, the restaurant was pretty loud, but over here we're so far back that you really don't hear anything, and it's perfect because we're right near the end. Here is the laundry facility. They have an ice machine, laundry machines, drying machines, place to make change, and just some books, and looks like some people have just some odds and ends things here. So it's just an easy facility. I will hang dry the clothes on the boat, but it's like $1.25 to do some clothes, so pretty inexpensive. And it's so private here, and there's so few people that live here and have a liveaboard slip that I feel like you could just leave your clothes and just walk around and nobody would take anything. This is actually a recreation area that they have. So they have fridges, they have freezers, they have an entire bar, as well as some lights and chairs. Some people actually keep their boards here. So they have like surfboards, paddle boards. Alright, so this place is kind of just like a hangout zone for people who live aboard here. I don't really think we'll be here super windy. I don't really think we'll be here frequently, but if we want to grill something, they have a grill, they have freezers. If we had people come and stay and we had like a little bit more food, we could put it in a baggie and put it in the freezer. They have board games, they have Catan, Pandemic, they have like a ton of different things here. We could store a board, clubs, and it would also be a great spot because they have quite the asphalt on the side where if we needed to like use a saw or work on a bigger project, this would be a great spot to do it. So then this is the parking lot. So there's a gate so that you just hit like a little electronic fob. It opens the gate, you come in here to park. Right over here we have a like little dog park if you had a dog. So they have a bike rack here. Over here are the men's and women's restrooms with full showers. They actually have storage lockers here if you needed them. We don't use them, but they also have a place if you had a kayak or a surfboard that you could store here as well. This would be a great spot to put in your paddleboard too, or a kayak. And then over here, that is Pearl Harbor. So you can see Pearl Harbor there. They obviously fence that off in the water, so you can't get over there via the ocean. But this is a great little spot. And then this is actually the bridge to Ford Island. So this would take you to Ford Island. There's like a great bike and like hiking path that you can walk there that I'll go to probably regularly. And then what's also nice about this is it covers our car where we park. So our car doesn't like heat up because the sun isn't beating on it because it's under the bridge. So it's pretty great. So that is a tour of the marina that we are at and a part of. We are so lucky to be here. It is not easy to get a slip here, but we are so happy that we did. So thank you so much for watching this video. As I mentioned in our previous video, we are so grateful for everybody here who has subscribed, liked this video, liked all of our other videos, as well as commenting down below. We really appreciate you. We are so excited to have you here and to see our world with us. So if you haven't already though, please hit the subscribe bar down below and join us for a video. We post every single Friday, and we just started Patreon. So if you would love to join us over on Patreon, it's obviously nothing that we assume people do. We are grateful for anybody who joins us on Patreon. You'll actually get to receive exclusive content where we'll be posting videos there as well. So thank you so much for watching. We truly appreciate all of you, and we're excited to show you more here in Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. See ya.